On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. She told her how pretty her drawings were and asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend. And they signed it with lots of X for love. They mailed the letter to Borgin Sides writing, please forward on the envelope. So now Saturday, Maddie and Peggy both had written a friendly letter to Vanta, congratulating her on winning the contest and asking her the whereabouts of the new place, new school, new teacher, and all those things. Actually, they started letter in the purpose of saying sorry, but it just ended up as a friendly letter. And they made the letter to the address in Borgin Sites and asked to forward it. Days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back. So maybe Vanta had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer. You could not blame her. Weeks went by and still Vanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night making speeches about Vanta, defending her from great crowds of girls who were trying to tease her with, how many dresses have you got? And before Vanta could press her lips together in a tight line, the way she did before answering, Maddie would cry out, stop. Then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground. Christmas bells and a small tree decorated the classroom. On the last day of school before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she had received that morning. So days passed and there was no answer. As the letter having come back, it was sure that Vanda received the letter, and maybe Vanda was so angry and hurt that she haven't answered. And you could not blame Vanda for that. And now weeks passed and Peggy forgot the entire thing, and Maddie tried to sleep by saying speeches in her sleep defending Vanda. Maybe she imagined Vanda in a crowd teasing her and she would ask them to stop teasing her and now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground and the class was decorated with Christmas bells and a small tree. On the last day of school before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she received that morning. Now guess children, whose letter it will be? Yes, of course, it was Vanta's letter. You remember Vanta Petronsky, the gifted little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she has returned me and I am glad to know where she lives because now I can send her medal. I want to read her letter to you. The class sat up with a sudden interest and listened intently. Dear Miss Masson, how are you and room 13? Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses because in my new house I have 100 new ones, all lined up in my closet. I'd like that girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red rimming and her friend Maddie to have the blue one for Christmas. I miss that school and my new teacher does not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. Yours truly, Vanta Petronsky. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. All the houses had wreaths and holly in the windows. Outside the grocery store, hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked, and in the window, candy peppermint sticks and conic pairs of shiny transparent paper were strung. The air smelled like Christmas, and light shining everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. So, what was the content of Vanda's letter? Yes, actually, she was settled in her new place and she wrote to Miss Masson. She said that she was so happy in the new place and her new teacher will not equalize Miss Masson. And she said that she can give those 100 dresses to the children in the class. And she is specially mentioning Peggy to have the green dress with red rimming and Maddie to have the blue one. And she wishing all of them a Merry Christmas. She's not having any issues with the entire class. Okay. And on the way home, you can see the entire street was decorated as it was Christmas time. And now, boy, said Peggy, this shows she really likes us. It shows she got our letter and this is her way of saying that everything's all right and that's that. I hope so, said Maddie sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see the little tight-lipped Polish girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn place in the pink-flowered wallpaper in the bedroom. The shabby room came alive from the brilliance of the colors. Maddie sat down on her bed and looked at the drawing. She had stood by and said nothing, but Vanda had been nice to her anyway. Now, Peggy said Maddie that Wanda is not having any harsh feelings with us. That's why she has gifted us that two drawings. Maybe it is her way of saying that everything is alright with us. But Maddie was still sad because she was not able to meet Wanda and make everything okay between them. Anyways, Maddie is hanging the drawing that was gifted by Wanda in her room, and she noticed that the room became so alive, so bright with the brilliancy of the colors. Now, children, here in between we had a very good description of the decorations which was made in the Christmas days. So, children, you can recollect it in the same way as we have the Christmas decorations in our school and in our localities. What do you mean by wreaths? It's the flowers and leaves arranged in a circle. Holly means a bush with shiny leaves and bright red reddies. And stacked means it is arranged neatly in a pile. And cornucopias means a decorative vessel for holding things. Okay, these are some words that you are not familiar with, so please note it down. Tears blurred her eyes and she gazed for a long time at the picture. Then hastily she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. The colors in the dress were so vivid that she had scarcely noticed the face and head of the drawing. But it looked like her. Maddie, it really looked like her own mouth. Why? It really looked like her own self. Wanda had really drawn this for her. Excitedly, she ran over to Peggy. Peg, she said, let me see your picture. What's the matter? Asked Peggy. As they clattered up to her room where Wanda's drawing was lying face down on the bed, Maddie carefully raised it. Look, she drew you. That's you, she exclaimed, and the head and face of this picture did look like Peggy. What did I say? Said Peggy. She must have really liked us anyway. Yes, she must have, agreed Maddie, and she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Wanda, standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard, looking stolidly over at the group of laughing girls after she had walked off, after she had said, sure, 100 of them all lined up. Now, what happened is that Maddie's eyes used to get filled with tears whenever she thought of Wanda. Now, she was going through the picture and now she noticed the face and head. Actually, it was Maddie. Wanda had really drawn Maddie. And now she is rushing to Peg and she is asking Peggy to show the drawing. And the face and head of that drawing showed Peggy. So Wanda was actually having a liking for these two girls. Maybe even though for teasing, actually only these two girls talked with Wanda. So she surely liked them. Now Maddie was feeling good. She was feeling okay in her mind that Wanda is not having any sad feelings towards them. Now children, what is the moral of this chapter? You should never make fun of anyone on any grounds. On the basis of anything, you should never make anyone hurt. And if you see anyone facing any teasings in front of you, you should raise your voice against them. Okay, children. So with this positive note, we are winding up the chapter. Read the chapter and we will meet at the live session with the revision of the chapter, The 100 Dresses, Part 1. So children, go through this chapter and if you have any doubts, clear it in the live session. So thank you children. Have a nice day.
The story continues from the point of the drawing contest. It portrays the effect of the letter written by Wanda's father to Miss Mason. It concludes with a depiction of Wanda's kind and forgiving nature. This summary concludes the story of the 100 Dresses Part 2 by L. Sor Esther, also known as Eleanor Estes. A student brought Miss Mason a note. The class currently was admiring Wanda's sketches. She read the note several times before calling the class to attention. The letter, she informed them, was from Wanda's father. There was an air of anticipation as the class waited for Miss Mason to read the letter. She read it out slowly. In the letter, Wanda's father, Jane, writes saying that Wanda will not attend school anymore. They were moving to a big city. No one will shout insults at them or make fun of their names in the city. Miss Mason sternly hoped that no one in her class hurt Wanda in the manner described by her father. Then she asked the class to reflect on this unfortunate event. After hearing Miss Mason's announcement, Maddie could not concentrate on her lessons. She thought about all the times she had remained silent when Peggy made fun of Wanda. This made her a coward. Maddie decided to find Wanda and make amends. On meeting Wanda, she would congratulate her on winning the contest and then compliment her on the drawings. After school, Peggy suggested that they should go and visit Wanda up at Boggins Heights. Boggins Heights looked quite forbidding in the gloom, damp November afternoon. As they walked, Peggy told Maddie that at least she hadn't called Wanda a foreigner or made fun of her name. Maddie didn't reply. She only hoped to find Wanda and make amends with her. The Petronskis lived in a little white house. The house looked poor, but it was clean. It also looked empty now. The house, Maddie thought, looked like Wanda's dress, old but clean. Peggy and Maddie knocked on the front and the back door, but there was no answer. The Petronskis had clearly left for the city. Maddie was deeply affected by Wanda's departure. She thought that about all the times she had not stood up for Wanda. On Saturday, Peggy and Maddie wrote a friendly letter to Wanda. They did not receive any reply for quite some time. Peggy started to forget the incident, but poor Maddie felt guilty that she could not make things right with Wanda. She dreamt of standing up to everyone at school, telling them off for teasing Wanda. But on the last day of the school, Miss Mason told the class that she had received a letter from Wanda. In the letter, Wanda asks the teacher to let the girls keep the dresses since she has new ones in her closet now. She asks Miss Mason to give the drawings of the red and blue dresses to Peggy and Maddie. She concludes the letter with wishing everyone Merry Christmas. Peggy is satisfied with the letter, but Maddie is not. She feels that she would never be able to make things right with Wanda again. Once home, she pins the drawing to the wall. The drawing covered the torn wallpaper and made her bedroom come alive with its vibrant colors. As she admired the drawing, she suddenly noticed that the girl wearing the dress resembled her. She ran over to Peggy's house and asked for the drawing Wanda had made for Peggy. Excitedly, she pointed out to Peggy that the girl in the drawing had Peggy's face too. By depicting the girls' faces in her drawings, Wanda clearly shows her affection for the girls in her class even after being made fun by them.